WJAB-90.9 FM, WJAB. Good afternoon and welcome to a very special community news from the Hill. Every third Thursday of the month, as his schedule will allow, we will have a presidential community news from the Hill. And our special guest is the 11th president of Alabama A&M University, Dr. Andrew Hugine, Jr. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Miss Erica, and thank you very much for having me today.
We are glad to have you and to catch up and let our listeners know what's really going on here on the Hill. And let's get started and get into the thick of things. And let's talk a little bit about enrollment. Walking around and I see students everywhere, and it just seems to be increasing every semester. What are numbers looking like, and how excited are you about that?
Very excited, and that's a good sign to see. As I always share, it's good to have students come to the university and be a part of it. The vision of Alabama A&M University is to be the institution of choice. It is the institution of choice for our employers, institution of choice for our faculty, our staff, but also institution of choice for our students. And obviously, as we look at the enrollment over the last couple of years, this is an institution of choice. We've been fortunate to have 5 consecutive years of enrollment increases. For the current year, fall of 2016 that we're in, we have 5,861 students. That's an increase of 4.1% over last year's number, which was 5,628.
Wow. What's
also exciting about that, last year we had a record number of freshman students. It was a record that held since 2003. We surpassed that last year. Well, I'm pleased to report that that record of last year only lasted 1 year. This year we have over 1,600 freshman students, the largest we've had in the history of the university. So this, again, verifies that we are indeed an institution of choice, and we are pleased that individuals have accepted and looked at Alabama A&M University as a place to continue their education. We have excellent programs, quality programs, highly ranked programs, and so we're just pleased that there are numbers of persons on the campus.
We want our listeners to get involved into the conversation and give us a call at 256-372-4062 if you have any questions. That's 256-372-4062. What do you think are some of the contributing factors to the numbers increasing every year?
Well, there are a number of factors. One, as I alluded to earlier, we have excellent programs. Our STEM programs are ranked in the top 50 in the nation, particularly among minorities. We have an excellent social work program. We have excellent programs in biology and engineering and social work and many areas. We have the best of the best, and so we have not only good programs, those programs are affordable. The cost of attending Alabama A&M University is very affordable. You recall some years ago we were recognized for our affordability. The institution continues to believe in our mission of access and opportunity, and so we want to give those opportunities to young people to come to Alabama A&M University. Our alumni do a very good job in steering persons to come to the university because they realize the importance of the degree and what that degree has been able to do for them. I think further that many of the initiatives that we have implemented in the last couple of years have made a difference. You see the visibility of the university throughout the state of Alabama. As you drive from Mobile back here, you will see all those wonderful billboards which talk about start here and go anywhere.
Right.
If you're in this local community or in one of the other areas that we have targeted, we have some excellent commercials out that feature each of our colleges, our College of Business and Public Affairs, our College of Education, Humanities and Behavioral Sciences, our College of Engineering, Technology and Sciences, and of course our College of Agriculture, Life and Natural Sciences. Wonderful advertising tools for the university. And then, of course, we do the presidential tour each year in February. That takes us to out the state, where we have an opportunity to recognize young people that have achieved. And so collectively, I think all of those have contributed to that increased enrollment that we've had over the years.
So you talked about the colleges. What is the difference between colleges and schools? I know they used to call them schools. What is the difference?
Well, generally, when an institution is elevated to a university, then the next subdivision would be that of colleges. And colleges become a collection of units, and those units may be schools and or departments. It's an administrative structure that provides for programmatic review and programmatic programming that takes place there. And so typically when you have a college, then you have schools.
Okay.
Once you become a university, then the next would be colleges. So I think maybe 4 or 5 years ago, we elevated our schools to colleges, and that is in keeping with the structure you find within the academy.
Very interesting. I like that part. Again, if you want to get involved in the conversation, please call us with your questions at 256-372-4062. I know you are taking the initiative to talk with the 4 colleges here on campus, and you've already spoken with the College of Engineering and Education. What was your main focus with that discussion, and what will you be talking about with the other colleges?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we've done 3 of them. We've done the College of Agriculture, Life, and Natural Sciences. We've done the College of Engineering, Technology, and Physical Sciences, and we've done the College of Education, Humanities, Behavioral Sciences. We still have the College of Business and Public Affairs to share, but it provides them an update on the university, much as what I'm providing now. And talked a bit about our vision, the mission of the university, what we see as the immediate strategic aims, and I'll share 2 of those with you once I do the listing here. And then it allows them an opportunity to ask questions, and we want to do that in a forum that's a little bit more intimate than what we have the opportunity to do at the opening faculty and staff conference. One of the things that I have mentioned at each of the colleges, and of course I'm sure that the College of Business and Public Affairs would be proud to hear this, we want to be certain that the programs that can have accreditation, that those programs are accredited. Our education programs are accredited, social work, rehabilitation counseling, urban planning, all of those programs, ABET programs in engineering. Unfortunately, our business program is not accredited, and it is important for this university, particularly when you look at the location where we happen to be. It's important that we have an accredited School of Business. We're right here in Huntsville, Alabama, which is the technological hub of the state of Alabama. We have the second largest research park in the nation. And so not only for the benefit of the College of Business and Public Affairs, but for the branding of Alabama A&M University, it is imperative that we have an accredited College of Business. And so that's a high priority, one that we are working very diligently to do and to get accomplished as quickly as we can. So I've said to each of the colleges, even though it is not within your division, it is of benefit to the entire university. We have to do what's in the best interest of the university, not an individual school, department, or college. The other initiative deals with our the planning that we're doing and the construction that we're doing going forward. And so you were present back in August when we had the groundbreaking for our new student resident hall that we are really excited about. And that's going to add 580 beds, and we hope that it will be ready during the next school year. A wonderful opportunity for our students, and we think that too will contribute to further growth here at the university.
So are those part of some of your major planned projects and initiatives for the university, or in addition to what some of your projects are?
Those are some of the immediate projects. And so the other is that once we have completed the renovation of McCaleb. McCaleb is the old vocational building. It will allow us to move into the actual academic structures, including this building and many others that we'll be able to enhance once we have a place to relocate individuals. We have been working on the renovation of Carter Hall for a few years, and a lesson learned from that is that it is better to have a place to relocate faculty in those academic programs while the renovation is going on. And so in the future, that's the approach that we will take, to be sure that we have a place to relocate the faculty and the programs while the renovations are taking place. And so that becomes the other piece. going back to student housing again, once we have completed the new student residence hall, the first building that we're going to take offline for a year will be Thigpen Hall. Thigpen is a beautiful building. It's a 4-level structure. It was really, when you look at the design of it, it was ahead of its time. But the renovations and upgrades that we want to do in Thigpen Hall will take more than a summer. And so we can't do it just in 3 months. It will probably take about a year. And so what will happen once we get the new student housing in place, at that point we will close Thigpen Hall for a year, do the renovations, and then we'll reopen Thigpen Hall. What that will allow us, again, in the long term, is to really have about 3 different types of housing on campus for our students, all state-of-the-art, modern facilities. We'll have the traditional housing that will be available in Thigpen and Stevens and others. Then we will have the kind of semi-suite, much like you have in
West or Night Center,
Night Center in Foster, and kind of combination in the new residence hall. And then you have Normal Hills, which is more apartment. So there will be something there for the taste and desires of all students.
I still think Thigpen is near and dear to me. That was my freshman year. So I think freshmen should get that real dormitory experience, having to share the hallway, the telephone, the bathrooms, all of that. Then they can go to the luxury.
Well, I believe it or not, there is research which suggests that you do need to have, particularly during that freshman year, you do need to have the experiences within the traditional residence hall. Now, the phones won't be in the hall anymore.
That's true.
That's gone. but the rest of, having a roommate, and learning to share, learning to work through issues, that's important, because in life, that's what you'll have to do. And if all of the time you spend alone, you don't build on your socialization skills. And so it is important that we do that. So we do want to have those options available for students.
Exactly. I like that. Again, this is a very special Community News from the Hill, and we are calling it the Presidential Community News from the Hill. Our guest is the 11th president here at Alabama A&M University, Dr. Andrew Hugine Jr., and we'd love for you to call in with your questions. The number to call is 256-372-4062. A big thing that helps universities and colleges is fundraising, and that deals a lot with your capital campaign. Speak to us a little bit about how the campaign is coming along.
The capital campaign is moving along quite well, and I certainly want to thank our faculty. I want to thank our staff members, alumni, and other supporters for the manner in which they have assisted with the capital campaign. We started with a goal of $16,250,000. We are pleased to report that we have met that goal. We did that perhaps a year or so ago and had a presentation to the Board of Trustees indicating that that goal has been reached. And then we established a new goal. The new goal is $22,187,500. If you notice in the center of that, Ms. Erica, is 1875. So
yes.
That was kind of play on the year, so we could encourage persons to give in that manner. But we are pleased to report that we're doing well with that goal, and so we are confident that we will reach that as well. This is the first capital campaign in the history of the university. It's been very, very successful, but there is still a need to do much more. There is a need to do much more, and we really see that need become prevalent during this time of the year. When you get a report in your desk that you have students who are seniors, students with good GPAs, and they don't have the resources to come back and complete their last year at the university, it really is very disheartening. And so we need more and more dollars for scholarships. In the environment and the country in which we live, the lack of resources should never be a reason why persons who are doing what we've asked them to do, study hard, and that they will not be able to complete their degree program. So we do need much more in that regard relative to the support of the capital campaign. And another aspect that we are trying to promote this year is to get our students involved in giving. We can't wait until they become seniors and graduate and then begin to try to develop this culture of giving. So we are putting in place a couple of initiatives that will encourage our students to begin giving. And you'll see a lot of that during homecoming as we ask them to give. We're not concerned about how much they give. We'll take $1, that's fine. We just want them to get in the habit of giving and supporting and giving back.
Now, does the campaign run in a calendar year, January to December, or is it an academic year?
It really runs concurrent with the fiscal year.
Okay,
It runs with the fiscal year so that we keep everything reporting, the timelines reporting at the same time.
In keeping with what's kind of going on, we're getting ready now for a presidential election. I won't ask you for a prediction of an outcome, but I will ask you, how do you encourage our students to go vote and get registered to vote?
I'm happy that you asked that because there's a lot going on the campus. We just spent during the noon hour with our students over in the Night Center for lunch, and when we came out, we saw that there were representatives there from the Madison County Election Board there on campus to register our students, and that is in, of course, concert with many of our student organizations and others that's encouraging young people to vote. We've asked our faculty to please encourage students to do so, to provide any kind of incentive that you can. Again, we're not saying to individuals who they should vote for. We just want to be sure that they register, and we want to be certain that they vote. It's their individual choice as to the individual that they may or may not want to vote for. But it is critically important. Student Government Association, likewise, they've got a number of initiatives that they're putting forward in order to do that. The university will have sign and postage, signs and signage and billboard and et cetera on the campus that again will encourage and remind individuals the importance of voting and the need to vote. Every election is important, but this election is by far one of the most important we've had in a long, long time. And I think sometimes people aren't really sure why an election is important. But in this case, we have 8 members on the Supreme Court. And a 9th person is going to be named to the Supreme Court. And the next president of the United States is going to name that 9th person. The court right now is split right down the middle. And so whoever is named is going to sway the court in one direction or the other. So the results of this election is not going to just be 4 years. It could very well have an impact for the next 20 to 30 years because judges are appointed for life. And as you look at the number of cases that are waiting to be tried and adjudicated by the federal courts, the Supreme Court, there are quite a few. And they do impact, the universities. They have impact across the board. And so this is not a matter of just who is going to serve in the presidency for the next 4 years. This is a matter of who is going to have influence on what happens in this country, perhaps for the next 20 to 30 years.
That's a long time.
That's a long time.
When you think about it like that, and our young people need to get involved.
Yes.
Definitely get involved. And we want you, our listeners, to get involved. Call Dr. Hugine with your questions at 256-372-4062. And you mentioned homecoming. Homecoming's coming up, and I know they will have some voter registration drives going on during that week. So I will ask your prediction there. Who's going to win homecoming?
Well, there's no question about who's going to win the homecoming game. It's going to be Alabama Agricultural Mechanical University Bulldogs. We're going to be successful homecoming. I have the utmost confidence in our team. We're going to be just fine. It's the beginning of the season. We fortunately have one victory, and I think we're going to be okay as we go forward. So we're going to be fine. We're going to be just fine. While we're mentioning events, I certainly want to take the opportunity to talk about an event that's going to take place this evening.
Right.
It's at the Von Braun Center. Alabama A&M University is very, very fortunate. We are a prestigious institution in this regard. There are over 3,000 universities in this nation. Only 107 of them are fortunate enough to have a Confucius Institute. We are one of the 107. And so this evening we will celebrate our first anniversary. We've been in business for a year now. A number of wonderful things have happened here at the university. We've had faculty from Nanjing Forest University. We probably have about between 4 and 6 faculty members here. They are, of course, teaching courses in Chinese language and culture and history on the campus, but they're also doing the same in the community. They're doing it with our county, with the Huntsville City Schools.
Really?
Yes.
So they're branching out. That's a good collaboration.
They're branching out. And so we have Chinese students pursuing their studies here on the campus. This past summer, we had students that returned to China again for their research summer experience. But we also had a delegation that was led by Dr. Walker of teachers from the Huntsville City Schools that spent, I think it was probably 3 weeks in China, again coming through our Confucius Institute. So tonight we will have that celebration. The artistic director is going to be back again, and he's been working with our students, with the students at Providence Elementary School, and they will be presenting. But our special guest will be LaShawn Normal University. They are, I think they're just coming from a presentation in California, and they're stopping here to present for us, and so they'll be doing much of the presentation coming from China, dances and songs and etc. So it's going to be a very delightful evening and a cultural evening. So we invite persons to please come out for that. I hear often that there's nothing to do in Huntsville. You know, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do in Huntsville, and so we do encourage persons to come and be a part of that this evening. It starts at 7 o'clock.
And it is open to the public. You do need a ticket, but the tickets are free, and it is a wonderful event, anniversary. And Dr. Yang Wang is the person that you can get in touch with for information about the Institute, but for tickets for tonight, 256-372-7165. And just looking at this picture alone, it makes me think of the Olympics. And it's just I expect big, festive, and colors all over the place, and just wonderful fun.
And it will be. They'll have the Chinese costumes, and will be a part of what they do. So it's going to be delightful, very, very enjoyable. We do encourage our students to take advantage of this and to be present. It's important as we look at the global society in which our students are going to compete. They're not going to compete just with the students here in Alabama or the United States of America. This is global competition they have to deal with. We also have to understand the significance and importance of China. China and the United States are the two large monetary markets in this nation. It is China and the United States. China has significant investments in this country, and we have significant investments in China. So it would not be unusual that a student graduating from Alabama A&M University may find themselves with an assignment in China. And so we need to understand the culture, we need to understand the language, because cultures are different. You don't want to be in a business environment and do something that you're not aware of that causes you to not get the business deal closed simply because you didn't understand their culture.
Right.
And you may very well be doing something to insult them. A typical one that happens when we think about rice, and we have Chinese rice, we are quick to put soy sauce on it. Well, that's not what they do in China.
That's American.
That's American. That's nothing Chinese about putting soy sauce on rice. They eat the rice white, just as it is. So imagine if you were sitting at a table and you're in China and you ask for soy sauce or you put soy sauce on, you could very well, they won't say anything, but you insult the host, and you probably won't have an opportunity to close whatever deal that you're dealing with.
Oh my!
So it's important to understand differences in culture from one nation to the other.
Dr. Charles Steele, president of SCLC, always taught me you don't network, you make relationships. So I love the relationships that you're continuing to make, worldwide now. And it all comes back to where it's all about the students. So in these short few minutes, what is it that makes you such a hands-on president with the students? I think it's just great collaboration and making relationships with our young people.
Because I like young people, and I've said this repeatedly, and I'll continue to say it. They are the only future that we have. we don't have another future. And so because they represent 100% of our future, it is important that we invest in them. It's important that we help them to develop into the young people that we know they have the capability of being, and understand that someone took the time to help us develop. Whatever we have achieved in life, we didn't do it by ourselves. Someone saw something in us. Someone encouraged us to do something. Someone took the time to take us by the hand and help us do it, even though we didn't know how, or sometimes did not want to do it. And we have an obligation to give back and to help others. And I always say the easiest way to do that is just to reflect back on the times when we were 17, 18, 19 years of age, and what did we want? Students still want the same. And so I just enjoy the opportunity of seeing young people grow and develop and become productive citizens. And I say this, and I sincerely mean it. When at commencement and other places, I always say we have the very best students that exist anywhere in this nation, and I sincerely mean that. I don't say it because it's cliche. I say it because I believe truly in my heart that these students are the best. When you see the work that they do, the displays that they have, if you go to STEM Day and you see the presentations that they do, we have some brilliant young people. I just wish I were half as smart as some of them. They are great. And so it makes the task easy to reach out and to be a part of who they are, and to kind of hear what is on their mind, just to listen and try to remember how it was to be 17, 18, and 19 years of age. A little harder for some of us than before, but we still have to give it a try.
Most definitely. Well, I thank you so very much, and appreciate this wonderful idea. And again, as your schedule will permit you to, we will do this every third Wednesday of the month, the Presidential Community News from the Hill. And Dr. Andrew Hugine, thank you very much.
And thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
We'll do it again.
Okay.
This is 90.9 FM WJAB. Coming your way next, we have an update from NPR News, followed by their award-winning news magazine, All Things Considered. And Marcus Sims will have much more smooth jazz and cool vocals on Afternoon Expressions. For Dr. Andrew Hugine Jr., I'm Erica Fox for your Presidential Community News from the Hill on WJAB. Have a great day.